Hey YouTubers, welcome back to another episode of Small Engines Questions and Answers for Friday, August 12th, 2011. So before I start, I want to thank all my supporters again. Thanks for watching all my videos, I really appreciate it. I've got over 4,000 subscribers. I never thought it would get that far, but thanks to you, that's where I am now. I also want to thank Carno99 for sending me some tools again. He's the same YouTuber that sent me the other ratchets like this, but in bigger sizes. So this week he sent me this valve tool here, the smaller 1/4-inch Craftsman ratchet, a big pair of channel lock pliers, and these are massive. You can even get oil filters off with this pair. And he also sent me a set of box sand wrenches like this. So thanks again, Carno99. And thanks to all the other YouTubers who send me some other gifts. And before I start off today too, I want to show you guys a little RC motor that I bought at an estate sale last weekend. It's brand new. It's a K&B motor. I haven't seen the K&B around too much. Usually I see OS or Super Tigers. And it's a .45 Sportster. I like how shiny they look and very well crafted. So anyways, now I've got a spare motor for these two planes here. Some of you guys asked me what's the program you use for your RC flight simulator. Well, it's called Real Flight G4.5. The new version I believe is 5.5. And just to show you the control that came with it is exactly pretty well the same thing as the real life control that I used to fly the real planes. The one you get with the software plugs right into your USB port on your computer, and it's got all the same controls and features as the one you use in real life. So if you can fly on the computer, you're more than likely going to be able to fly in real life. And you can buy this on eBay for $199, and it's a good deal because if you crash your real planes, it's going to cost you a lot more than $200. My first question today is about the brake on your lawnmower. As you all know, when you release the brake cable on your lawnmower, it shuts off the engine. But usually there's a little brake pad on the lever here that goes underneath the flywheel. What this does is when you release it, it actually makes the flywheel stop quicker than it would if the brake pad wasn't there. Now YouTubers asking me if this brake pad here is missing, do I absolutely have to replace it? Well, it's always recommended that you replace safety features like that, but in my case, I probably wouldn't. All that's going to do is allow the engine to spin longer when you release the brake cable. Now, as you can see, there's a wire coming out of this mechanism from the terminal here, and it goes to the coil. So when you release the brake lever, it actually cuts off the ignition to the spark plug, thus shutting your engine off. That's why I say it's not an absolute necessity to replace this brake pad. Sometimes people tell me when I release the brake lever, the engine keeps spinning a long time. Well, if it does that, it's because this little brake pad is probably worn off or broken off your lawnmower. So I do recommend that you replace it because it is a safety feature, but it's not absolutely necessary to the proper functioning of your lawnmower. The only thing is when you shut it off, make sure to remember that the engine may spin a bit longer, so don't put your hands or your feet or anything else underneath the lawnmower deck. Basically, it's just common sense. Another question I got this week is the YouTubers asking me, what are the parts that you most commonly stock in your shop? What I most commonly stock are rolls of fuel line, assorted varieties of fuel line here from Tygon, carburetor kits, a lot of those actually, a lot of spark plugs, carburetor bowls for Tecumseh carbs because you're always replacing them, fuel filters, rolls of starter rope, that's a must. I could go on for quite a while to tell you what I most commonly stock, but these are the most common ones that I do stock here. Other parts that I stock are lawnmower blades, snowblower shear bolts. I also have a large assortment of bolts and fasteners as well. Here's an RJ19LM Champion spark plug. Now I got a question the other day, a YouTuber's asking me, if I buy a plug and it's just J19LM, is it the same spark plug? Well, yes it is. All the R is for is to prevent interference in a radio or something like that. And most of the time everybody's far enough that even if you run your lawnmower, it's not going to cause any interference in your television or your radio. I remember a long time ago when we grew up, we had no cable. All we had was an antenna for the television, and if you ran a snowmobile and you were driving near the house, you could see interference in the television. But nowadays everything is more sophisticated. You don't get that problem. So even if there's no R on your spark plug, it doesn't really matter. Unless you're running equipment like really close to somebody's television or radio, which I doubt that's going to happen, then you should get the spark plug with the R. I always buy the spark plug with the R's because that's what seems to be most commonly available. But as affecting the performance of your engine, there's no difference at all. You can use a spark plug without the R or with the R, and your engine's going to run the same. Now last week I talked about O-rings and how you should use a Viton rubber if it's going to be soaked in oil and gas. Well, I had a YouTuber send me an email telling me some precautions to use if you're going to use Viton O-rings. Now here's the email that I got from him. He says there is a point that you should emphasize to your viewers regarding this type of seal. If they ever get burnt for any reason, they must never be allowed to come into contact with any skin. Why? Because burnt Viton releases fluoric acid. There is no way to decontaminate skin it soaks in. The only possible cure is amputation of the affected part, if you're lucky. Ever wondered why burnt cars are crushed? They are full of fluorocarbon plastics too. So pick up the seal with a pair of pliers and discard it in the bin. Better safe than sorry. Now I don't know everything about Viton seals and safety precautions and all that and what kind of chemicals they're made of. It's always better to be safe than to be sorry. Anytime you have anything that's burning or has been burnt, always be careful, as the YouTuber mentioned in his email. Now another question is, sometimes people ask me, where can I get a pressure washer pump in Canada? Well, this pump here, you can get it at Princess Auto for $199. It's the cheapest price for pump probably that you're going to find in Canada, except for eBay. On eBay you can get some pumps as well. And this pump here is 2700 PSI. I just installed it yesterday and it does work really good. So this will be it for this week's Q&A. Make sure to come back next Friday. Thanks for watching and have yourselves a great weekend.